My sister stole my wedding date and said you're not the star anymore. Then this happened. You know what they say, family is everything. But sometimes the people you love most are the ones who hurt you the worst. This is the story of how my own sister, my best friend since we were kids, hurt me in the worst way, and how life paid her back for what she did. My name is David, and this happened to me just over a year ago. I'm 28 years old and work in marketing. I thought I had my whole life planned out. I was going to marry Sarah, the love of my life. We had been together for 4 years and everything felt perfect. Our wedding was set for June 15th. We picked that date because it was exactly 5 years from our first date. Pretty romantic, right? My sister Emma is 2 years younger than me. When we were kids, we did everything together. She was like my shadow, following me everywhere. I was her big brother who protected her. When kids picked on her in middle school, I always stood up for her. When she had a bad breakup in college, I drove 6 hours to bring her ice cream. I let her cry on my shoulder all weekend. We shared everything, dreams, secrets, and jokes that only we understood. I helped her move into her first apartment. I helped her get her first car loan when she had no credit. I celebrated every good thing that happened to her. We had matching Christmas tree decorations and called each other almost every day. We really were best friends, not just brother and sister. So when I asked Sarah to marry me, Emma was the first person I called. She screamed so loud I had to hold the phone away from my ear. She cried happy tears and started talking right away about being my maid of honor. She wanted to help plan the bachelor party and said this was going to be the best wedding ever. I felt so lucky to have a sister who was so happy for me. We started planning the wedding right away. Sarah and I both like to plan everything perfectly. We had spreadsheets with different colors, detailed timelines, and charts comparing different vendors. We looked up everything online and read tons of reviews. We visited wedding venues multiple times to make sure the lighting was perfect for photos. Emma jumped in to help us with so much energy that it surprised me. She came to every dress fitting, every cake tasting, and every venue visit. She took more notes than Sarah and I put together. She even made a Pinterest board with over 500 wedding ideas. She organized them into groups like table decoration, wedding party looks, and reception ideas. She spent hours looking up vendors, reading reviews, and giving us suggestions. Looking back now, I should have noticed how much she cared about our wedding, almost more than we did. But back then, I just thought she was being an amazing sister who wanted everything to be perfect for us. Emma had been dating this guy Marcus for about 2 years. He was okay, I guess. I mean, he wasn't terrible, but he wasn't great either. He was one of those guys who still talked about high school all the time. He worked at an auto parts store and didn't seem to want anything better. He spent most weekends playing video games and drinking beer with his friends. Sarah and I both worried about whether this guy would ever marry Emma. But Emma seemed happy, so we kept quiet and tried to be nice to him. He hadn't asked her to marry him yet, and honestly, I wasn't sure he ever would. He seemed like the type of guy who would date a girl forever without ever getting serious about it. As our wedding got closer, I noticed Emma acting strange. She started making mean comments about our choices, but she said them with a smile. Our venue was pretty but nothing special, even though it was a beautiful old mansion that we had saved up for months to afford. The flowers we picked were boring, even though we had spent weeks choosing the perfect mix of peonies and roses. Our DJ was fine but not great. This from someone who had never planned a wedding before. She would make these comments like she was trying to help, but something felt wrong about it. At first I ignored it. Planning a wedding is stressful, and maybe she was just trying to make sure everything was perfect. But she kept making these comments, and they always had this mean feeling underneath. But then about 4 months before our wedding, Emma told me something that shocked me. She called me one evening, so excited she could barely talk. "David, oh my God, I have the most amazing news. Marcus asked me to marry him." I was really happy for her. Even though I had concerns about Marcus, I wanted my sister to be happy. "That's great, Em. Tell me everything." "We're thinking about having the wedding next summer. Maybe June? June weddings are so romantic, don't you think?" June. Our wedding was in June. "Well, June is a popular month," I said carefully. "There are a lot of Saturdays to choose from." "Oh, absolutely," she said, but something in her voice sounded weird. "We'll figure it out." 2 weeks later, my mom called me in a panic. "David, honey, I need to talk to you about something, and I don't know how to say this. Emma just told me that she and Marcus set their wedding date. They're getting married on June 15th. The world stopped. June 15th. Our date. The date Sarah and I had chosen. The date we had told everyone about. The date we had put down money for. That has to be a mistake," I said slowly. "She knows that's our date." "I know, sweetie. I told her that, and she said you guys could just pick a different date, that it's not that big of a deal." Not that big of a deal. Our wedding date, which meant so much to us, which we had been planning for months. Not that big of a deal. I called Emma right away. My hands were actually shaking as I dialed her number. She answered after 3 rings, sounding happy and casual, like nothing was wrong. "Hey, big brother. What's up? Emma, I said, trying to keep my voice calm and not show how upset I was. Mom just told me about your wedding date. There was a pause, just long enough that I knew she knew exactly why I was calling. Oh, yeah, June 15th. It's going to be perfect. That's our date, Emma. My voice came out quieter than I wanted. I know, she said, and I could actually hear her smiling. It was scary. But honestly, David, does it really matter? You could have your wedding any day of the year. June has so many Saturdays to choose from. I felt like someone had punched me in the stomach. Does it matter, Emma? That's the anniversary of Sarah's and my first date. We've had that date booked for 8 months. We've put down money, signed contracts, and told 150 people. Well, now you'll have to untell them, she said, and her voice was getting sharper and meaner. Look, David, I know this might be a little hard for you guys, but my wedding is going to be bigger than yours anyway. I'm thinking 200 guests, maybe more. It'll be the biggest party of the summer. You and Sarah are planning something smaller, right? So it just makes more sense for me to have the best date. It's just logical. Emma, you've been helping us plan this wedding for months. You know how important this is to us. And this is important to me too, she snapped. More important, actually. This is my chance to have the wedding of my dreams, and I'm not going to let you ruin it. Then she said the words that I will never forget. Face it, David. You're not the star anymore. It's my turn to shine, and your little wedding isn't going to overshadow mine. Asterisk, asterisk. The phone went quiet. I think we were both shocked that she had said it out loud. I have to go, she said quickly. You understand, right? Family supports family. She hung up. Sarah found me an hour later, staring at my phone in shock. When I told her everything, her face went through confusion, disbelief, hurt, and finally anger. She can't do this, Sarah said. We have contracts. We put down money. She can do whatever she wants, I said quietly. It's not against the law. We tried calling Emma again the next day, and the next, and the day after that. She wouldn't answer our calls. She wouldn't answer our texts. But she wasn't hiding from the rest of the family. Oh no, she was busy making sure everyone knew about her engagement, her wedding plans, and her June 15th date. She posted constantly on social media about wedding planning. She tagged vendors and shared inspiration photos. She made countdown posts. She made a wedding website with all the details. She sent save the date cards to everyone in our family within a week of setting the date. Save the date cards that went out before ours, even though we had announced our engagement and date first. It was like she was racing to claim not just the date, but the whole idea of being the family member getting married. I watched our family get torn apart, like watching a car crash in slow motion that you can't stop. Some relatives tried to stay neutral. They said they'd try to come to both weddings if possible, which was impossible since they were at the same time. Others picked sides right away. My Aunt Linda told my mom that Emma's wedding sounded more exciting, and she'd probably go to that one instead. My cousin Jake said he was Team Emma, because her wedding would have better food and an open bar. My grandmother, who was 89 and couldn't travel to multiple events in one day, chose Emma's wedding because the young girl needs more support, and David is a man, he'll be fine. The young girl who had stolen our date and was ruining our wedding plans and our family. Sarah started having panic attacks. She had worked so hard on planning our perfect day, and now it was turning into a nightmare of family drama. I don't understand, Sarah said one night crying. I thought she loved me. How could she do this? 2 weeks before our original date, Sarah and I made the hardest decision of our lives. We moved our wedding to a different date. We couldn't stand the thought of our special day being ruined by family drama. We moved our date to September 12th. We lost about $8,000 in fees we had already paid. We had to send out new invitations and explain to everyone why we were changing the date. It was embarrassing and heartbreaking, but I stayed calm through all of it. I didn't yell at Emma or say bad things about her to our family. I took the high road, even though it was killing me inside. Meanwhile, Emma was having the time of her life. She posted daily updates on social media and shared every detail of her planning. She acted like she was the first person ever to get married. She never once said she was sorry for what she did to us. In her mind, she had simply taken what was rightfully hers. June 15th arrived, the day that was supposed to be mine and Sarah's wedding day. Sarah and I spent it together, but we both felt sad and weird. We reminded ourselves that we'd have our own perfect day in September. Emma's wedding was everything she had dreamed of. Beautiful venue, gorgeous dress, fancy decorations, huge guest list. The photos flooded social media. It was the big party she had wanted it to be. She tagged me in her post-wedding thank you message, like I was supposed to celebrate with her. I removed the tag and didn't respond. Our September wedding ended up being better than anything we had originally planned. Smaller, more personal, filled with people who truly supported us. Sarah looked stunning. The weather was perfect, and everything was magical. Emma came to our wedding wearing white. Not a wedding dress, but a white cocktail dress that was clearly meant to get attention. She spent most of the party talking loudly about her own wedding and comparing our choices to hers. But I didn't care anymore. I was too happy and too grateful for the people who had shown up for us when it mattered. After our wedding, Sarah and I settled into married life. We bought a house, got a dog, and focused on our jobs. Life was really good. Emma and Marcus seemed happy enough on social media, but I started noticing little things. Marcus wasn't in as many photos anymore. Something seemed fake about their posts together. Then about 5 months after Emma's wedding, I got a call from my mom. "David, I have some news about Emma and it's not good. Marcus left her." My stomach dropped. "What?" "He moved out last week. He's been cheating on her with his coworker for months. Emma found out and confronted him, and he just left." I felt a weird mix of emotion. I felt sad for Emma, but also like justice had been served. "How is she handling it?" I asked. "She's devastated. She keeps saying everything was perfect, that she doesn't understand how this happened." Over the next few days, I learned more details. Marcus had been cheating for most of their marriage. He told Emma that he realized he wasn't ready for marriage. He said he had only proposed because she had been pressuring him. Emma had been so focused on having the perfect wedding that she had ignored all the warning signs. Friends had tried to warn her about Marcus flirting with other women, but she had ignored everything because she was so invested in her fantasy. The woman who had stolen our wedding date, who had said she deserved the spotlight, she had married a man who had been planning to leave her. A few days later, Emma started calling me. Her voice was small and broken, nothing like the confident tone she had used when stealing our date. "David, I know you probably don't want to talk to me, but I didn't know who else to call. Marcus left me. I heard. I'm sorry. I don't understand what happened. Everything was perfect. Our wedding was exactly what I wanted. I'm sorry you're going through this," I said. "David, I know I messed up with your wedding. I was selfish and awful, and I'm so sorry." It was the first time she had said she was sorry for what she did. "Can you forgive me?" she asked. "I need my brother. I don't have anyone else." Even after everything, she was still my sister. "We can work on fixing our relationship, but it's going to take time." "I was so jealous of you and Sarah," she whispered. "I thought if I could have the perfect wedding, everything else would be okay." "A wedding is just one day," I said gently. "It's the marriage that matters." Over the next few weeks, Emma's situation got worse. She couldn't afford the apartment she and Marcus had shared. She had to move back in with our parents. At 26, recently divorced, moving back into her childhood bedroom. But it wasn't over yet. Emma had put wedding expenses on credit cards, thinking she and Marcus would pay them off together. When he left, she was stuck with about $15,000 in debt for a party celebrating a marriage that lasted less than 6 months. She couldn't make the payments. Her credit was getting ruined. She asked our parents for help, but they couldn't take on that debt. She asked other family members, the same ones who had chosen her wedding over ours, but suddenly no one was available to help. Finally, she asked me, "David, I know this is a lot to ask, but I'm desperate." "I'm sorry, Emma, but I can't help with that money," I said. "Sarah and I lost a lot of money when we had to change our wedding because of yours." "Please, David, I'm your sister." "You were my sister when you stole our wedding date too," I said quietly. "That was 6 months ago." Emma ended up filing for bankruptcy. She's still living with our parents and still struggling to rebuild her life. Marcus married his coworker a few months ago, a small courthouse ceremony. Emma found out through social media. She still calls me sometimes when she's having bad days. Our relationship is complicated. I don't hate her, but I don't trust her the way I used to. She's my sister, and I want her to be okay, but I'm not going to hurt myself for her bad choices. Sarah and I have been married for 8 months now, and we're incredibly happy. We're planning to start trying for kids next year. We love our house and our jobs are going well. Sometimes I wonder what would have happened if Emma hadn't stolen our wedding date. Would Marcus still have cheated? I'll never know for sure. But I do know this. Karma is real, and it takes its time. Emma got everything she thought she wanted. The June 15th date, the big wedding, the attention, and the spotlight, but she lost everything that actually mattered. Her relationship with me, the respect of our family, her marriage, her money, and her self-respect. Meanwhile, Sarah and I built a beautiful life together. Our wedding was perfect precisely because it was filled with people who genuinely supported us. I learned that being related to someone doesn't automatically mean you have to support them when they deliberately hurt you. Sometimes the most loving thing you can do is let someone face the consequences of their actions. Emma is still my sister, and I hope she finds real happiness someday, not the fake perfection she was chasing. But that happiness has to come from her own growth, not from me rescuing her. As for Sarah and me, we're living our happily ever after. It just took a little longer to get here than we thought. And you know what? It was worth the wait.